In case you missed it, the news wrote, the prosecutors have updated the evidence against YNW Melly. He did not know he was filmed admitting the murder of YNW Sakchaser and Juvy. This will end bad. We're only 5 hours after the murder was done, YNW Melly was filmed dancing in a parking lot with YNW Bortlen like nothing even happened.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned. Regardless of what happened, you already know.
Showing not even an ounce of sadness for the passing of their two best friends. However, without his knowledge, he was actually filmed again, this time 30 minutes before the murder, as YNW Melly was seen exiting the studio, sitting directly in the back left seat of the Jeep, where he would be sitting there for 30 minutes waiting for Sakchaser, Juvy, and Bortlen to get in.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes? All right.
This is crucial evidence against Melly, as the official court documents read, the direction of the bullets, traveling from left to right in the car, supports the claim that the shots originated from the back left seat where YNW Melly was positioned. This is when the prosecutors even brought up YNW Juvy's mother to the stand to confirm who was sitting where in the Jeep.
Can you state your name, your full legal name for the jury?
I'm Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the victims in this case?
Yes, I am.
How so?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right-hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
As with the prosecutors repackaging the evidence to present it to the new judge, they also created an insurance plan to make sure that YNW Melly will be found guilty for good in the upcoming trial. It is so disturbing that many believe the Florida court system is corrupt, and let me explain. As the Florida court system would make two deals with YNW Bortlen and YNW Melly's ex-girlfriend Mariah Hamilton. Mariah was hiding out of the United States since before Melly's original trial. She was actually running from police as she was supposed to testify against Melly last September, making her wanted in the United States.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
With her returning to the United States, she would end up making a deal with the judge. The judge said, if you agree to testify against Melly, you do not have to sit inside of jail until trial begins, where she accepted this instantly, as she was not having a good time inside of jail. This is terrible news for Melly, as she even wrote on Facebook confirming it, "Into my village, thank you to my village, I love you all so much, God's plan, not mine." Why this is such a huge deal is because the feds found disturbing evidence in Mariah's iCloud account where Melly forced her to not testify in trial, and even gave her the money to leave the United States and not come to the original trial. This is known as witness tampering. This itself carries a life sentence inside a prison, regardless if Melly actually took out Sakchaser and Juvy.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering charge will also be separate from Melly's existing case of Juvy and Sakchaser's death, as the feds already have all the evidence they need that he is witness tampering with the jail phones, as the feds have not been allowing Melly to use a phone inside a jail for several months due to them having everything they need. It got even so bad, his mother did an interview exposing the county jail for not allowing him to use a phone.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if the evidence is true that YNW Melly was using jail phones to commit witness tampering, telling Mariah to leave the United States, that's why they have not allowed him to use it. And they wouldn't just keep him off of it if it was just a hunch, as that would result in a major lawsuit, meaning they have the evidence stored away. However, it's what YNW Bortlen will do to YNW Melly that will sentence him to life inside a prison. And let me explain. Now, what you didn't know is during the original trial, Melly's lawyer actually tried to pin the murder against YNW Bortlen.
Those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with two bodies, a car riddled with. When he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he has discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket. Not Cortland Henry.
As that is Melly's lawyer revealing, it was always YNW Bortlen that was lying to the feds, and that Bortlen was the one with powder residue on his hands, meaning he used a firearm, while also mentioning he was the last person with Juvy and Sakchaser when they passed away. They even went as far as to bringing up a forensic scientist that covered the passings to go into further detail about Bortlen having the powder residue.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of powder residue and two component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of powder residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was powder residue present on the hands.
YNW Bortlen did not like this at all. This is why during the Melly mistrial, when it was granted, a report shared, YNW Bortlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day that Melly's mistrial was declared. The tweet reads, "Mind games don't work on people like me," alongside a handshake emoji as if he's accepting some sort of deal. It's also why you haven't heard from YNW Bortlen since the mistrial was declared. However, this is where it gets truly scary, because did you know the prosecutors are making YNW Bortlen snitch against Melly in the upcoming retrial? The prosecutors are sending in paperwork to have Bortlen and Melly tried together at the upcoming trial.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It's just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial. The penalty phase only if Melly is found guilty.
It's common sense. If Bortlen knows that he didn't commit this serious crime, he won't physically be able to sit there and take life in prison to the chin. This makes it very likely he'll just then point the finger and tell the truth. But also, if Bortlen is tried together with Melly, that means the feds can use Bortlen's interrogation that he did with police on the night of the crime, where he is clearly lying to police to cover up for Melly.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car, and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway.
Then you took 75 south?
As it's clear to the officers, Bortlen's story is not adding up to anything. Bortlen, however, is trying to stay confident about his story, trying to make it seem realistic, but he would just be caught up in his lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass, nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's the class.
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your two, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
But this is where the interrogation would go completely south. Bortlen ends up getting very angry as the officers are not fully believing his story about the crime.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like, cause I told y'all what. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
Typically, when a criminal in an interrogation hits this point of the interview where he's refusing to talk and not wanting to discuss further, it's the officer's job to then reset the playing field. The goal is to continue to ask questions, hoping either the criminal will mix up his story and share different details from the original, or just hope that he says too much. The officer would reset the conversation. He would then want more details of the in-the-moment actions made during the drive-by. How was he driving? Did he crash into anything? Did he see anything?
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here from when you guys opened the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got shut out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
With time running out in their allowed interrogation time, the officer would then just flat out ask, if you know who did this, would you tell me?
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
This clip was then highlighted by the feds as it's very important, and let me explain. Bortlen does not give a firm yes or no answer using his voice. He used his voice to answer every question before this, but instead, he shook his head no. This is because if he knew that it was YNW Melly who did the crime, saying no to the officer could have caused his voice to either crack or come out in a different pitch than he's been using throughout the entire interview, which is due to him lying. This would then be an obvious indicator to police that Bortlen knows a lot more than what he's sharing. Knowing this information that I shared, Melly's lawyers are continuing to try to get him released on bond. As the news wrote, Melly's lawyers submitted their last paperwork to have Melly released on a bond until trial in September. This time, they have full confidence Melly will be released from jail, as Melly's mother gave an update on his release.
We just still praying. I know I said I would I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it can come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, stop. I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming, you know.